lifestyle won't stop hustling.
Atlanta Season 3, Episode 3, titled The Old Man and a Tree. Bars. Listen, I go by the name of The Black Abstract. If you're locked in, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like, subscribe. If you aren't, or a current subscriber, I want to say salute to you. Appreciate you returning. So let's get into this episode, man. This episode was wow. Starts off with the gang heading up to a party over in London town. And listen, I'm glad it's like 4 of them. I'm glad they included Zazie Beetz in this van because it just fits better as a foursome with the female's perspective versus just a trio of Darius, Earn, and Al, which I like. You know, you can't go wrong with that trio, but I think just Van does bring another dynamic to it. And she's one of the main cast members, so they had to include her anyway. Listen, they are headed to some billionaires' party. And we see that they're trying to get in, and the lady's like, "Are you here for the stumpish?" Something she says. I'm like, "What the fuck did she just say?" And Ernest said the same thing I said. He was just like, "I don't understand you." We see some guy come down, who I guess is the billionaire, and he brings him upstairs, and it's like a trap. It's like the most disgusting thing you've seen. They're going in this house and they looking like, what the fuck? And the fact that they kept going, I would have been like, you know what, bro, I'm good on this. But they keep going all the way up, and they get to this top layer, and we see the guy punching his code, and it opens up, and it's like the most architecturally, I don't even know if it's a word, but the most architecturally beautiful thing, most beautiful thing you've seen. It's like modern. It's just crazy in here. It's a restaurant inside this fucking party. Like, it's a house, but it's like a restaurant and whatnot inside this party. And I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. And Darius is like, wow, this dude got like a decoy house inside the house. I'm like, yo, that's some old boss billionaire type shit for real. But anyway, we see in this party, each of our characters go they kind of like they separate ways, so it's like different situations happening in the party as they're all at together. Though the first thing Al and Darius do, they go to this place called Nando's. It's a restaurant inside the house. They go get some chicken. I'm like, oh shit, this is fire. Like, I'm like, yo, this is some state of the art type shit for real, man. I never seen no shit like that before. Earn is talking to the billionaire who wants him to meet his artist, who's this black kid who's kind of a shitty artist. He's, you know, for the most part. And Earn is telling him, like, you know, I wouldn't invest in him. Like, I wouldn't, you know what I mean? Earn is trying to persuade him, like, nah, this ain't a good investment. He ain't really. So, but the kid's overhearing him, and he intercepts whenever Earn tries to kind of discourage the billionaire or has something negative to say about him. But then he pulls Earn to the side and like, listen, man, I'm just milking this motherfucker for what he is. Man, white people been doing this shit for centuries and shit. So Earn gets the idea like, oh, shit, I should milk him too. And at the end, he winds up telling him, like, listen, man, kid needs a manager. I could do it for 25%. And dude like, yes. I'm like, Earn, you slick dog. Al meets with this guy. His last name is Nandos. And he's like, yo, are you the Nando? He's like, no. And they engage in the conversation, and he's like, yo, would you like to hit some tree, or would you like some tree? He was like, yeah. No, he's like, are you into trees? And he's like, yeah. And they actually takes Al to an actual tree, and Al's just like, his facial expressions is fucking hilarious, man. But he's just like, what the fuck is this dude? Then he invites him upstairs to some poker game. He's like, yo, you can smoke up here. So they're all having fun at this poker game. He comes up with some crazy story about how it was a black, wet, ashy guy outside his house, and it wound up being a spirit, and I guess he wound up fucking the ghost or something, and then he winds up telling Al, like, he's a devil worshiper. I'm like, what the he's like, the devil is just as much as powerful as God, and that's where, you know what I'm saying? Like, pretty much I guess that's what he was alluding to. And then Al winds up killing everybody in poker. And then this guy Nando just walks off like, oh, I gotta go lay down, because Al was making fun of him and shit. So they like, the other guy's like, oh, let me go see what's going on. I gotta help him out or support him. I forget exactly what they said, but they like, yo, they all left. Pretty much everybody at the table left. And I'm like, yo, Al Center, he's like, yo, who got my money? Like, so he know what it is. He know he just got walked. And he he so he's trying to find this guy, right? As he's trying to find him, some girl runs by and snatches his hat. I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on here? Darius is talking, into the kitchen. He's just doing Darius stuff. He goes into the kitchen and he talks to his lady. And she's like, oh, sorry, I'm engaged. She's like, oh, I just want the vodka. And I was just like, man, that's just like females. Always think somebody trying to talk to they stinking ass. Nobody trying to talk to you. And he winds up shutting her down. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. And then this white kid comes over. His name's Sox, S-O-X. He sees it, and somehow he equates that to racism. So the whole fucking episode, he's trying to get sympathy for Darius because he thinks Darius just experienced a form of racism. So he's having these, not interventions, but these support. He got like a support group for Darius, and Darius kind of like, yo, dude, it's not that serious. So I forget what the one kid said. He said they use that as guilt for something else or something. And Darius is like, yo, I thought it was more classism over here. I thought they didn't really have racism over here. I forget what the kid said, but it made sense. He was just like, they use that as, I forget what he said. I forget. If y'all know, post it in the comments for me. But Darius sees the girl in the kitchen. He's like, yo, don't come close. And they see her. And she's like, oh, it's me, such and such. And they wind up chasing her out the house and shit. The guy's like calling off the engagement. He's like, fuck her mother, ain't South Korea or some shit. I'm like, oh my God. Al winds up getting a chainsaw, cutting the fucking tree. Before that, he winds up finding Nando's room, banging on his door. Dude acting like he's asleep. He's like this. Is awoke the whole time. Like he really walked Al and shit. I'm like, wow. And then Al gets a chainsaw and starts cutting the tree. He turned to a straight Atlanta nigga right there. He got the chainsaw. He looking up like, yeah, you see me now? You woke now, ain't you? Ain't you? And the guy is like, what the fuck? Ern's like, yo, I got to call a Lyft and get up out of here. Prior to that, Ern was looking for Van the whole party because he was trying to keep his eye on her because I guess the mom, the grandma, their kid's grandma said that, something's been going on with her. So I don't know, maybe she's having like a psychotic break. So Ern's trying to keep his eye on her. He probably just, that's his baby mom. He probably just trying to look out for her. Or he probably trying to get that old thing back. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so he winds up spotting her, and as he's looking at her, she pushes the fucking waiter in the pool. I'm like, oh my God, what did she just do? So he goes over like, yo, what is that? And she's just laughing uncontrollably. So something's going on with Van. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I thought that was a funny ass moment though. Yeah, she chased her out. So as Al's cutting the tree, Ern's calling a car like, yo, we need a car. Like, how soon could you get there? So they all wind up running out the party and getting inside the car, and it was fucking the guy's Socks. And he's like, yo, here's your hat. And they all just got quiet, like, oh my God, what's going on? Listen, it was a bunch of little other shit that went on in the party. We could talk about it in the comments, but that's pretty much the gist of what I got from it. Now, Atlanta normally has like these subtle nuances behind each episode. It's a meaning. Me, I just think there was just kind of like the difference between Atlanta and London. How certain shit won't go over there, but it can go over there. So I don't know. I thought it was funny though. I thought it was like, this episode to me was like what we fell in love with Atlanta for, episodes like this. We fell in love with these individual characters for the way how they handle situations, as well as just the dry sense of humor they have. You know what I'm saying, with certain situations. I love how they kind of they're in a elevated sense in their life. They're in an elevated spot in their life, and they're handling it professionally. Like they it's just normal to them now. You know what I'm saying? Because first season, second season, they was broke. You like look at the wardrobe changes and shit. Like they fly now. You know what I'm saying? Darius fly, everybody fly. They was on some broke ass shit the first 2 seasons. So I like it, man. They keep it coming. London got a hood too, so it could happen over there. And the next episode, they got the same clothes on, so it's gonna be something that happens, or I think the night continues on from this night. So we'll see what happens though. Let's talk about it in the comments. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Peace.